Okay, a couple brief notes about some things I forgot to mention in the other video as well. So here's the board I just pulled off. I've cleaned it all up. You'll notice pretty significant difference in the thickness of the board. Let me put these down here so they'll actually focus, right? So this board is 1.6 millimeters, and this board is either 1 or 1.2 millimeters thick. So no real reason for that. Main reason is just to keep costs down. I stay with these boards. They seem to be a little bit cheaper. They're easier to panelize as well. And they're a little bit more forgiving at the time of actually soldering them. These ends that are on these are called castellated ends, and they tend to come out better for the manufacturer that I'm having the boards made at when they're a little bit thicker. It makes no difference in the blade itself. They still fit. They're fine. There's clearance there actually. When you have the regular controller in, it's actually loose inside the blade, and when you have the upgraded controller in, it's still a tiny bit loose, just not as much. So it does not cause a fitment problem or anything like that. That's on there. These boards, I have changed the design a little bit from the original design that I got. They were actually designed first by Ruth Sarian. It is his design. I'm basically following his. Only made some very minor adjustments for things like a little bit thicker rail, or thicker vias, and increased its ability to handle a little bit more current in some areas. And then also did some changes to the ground plane of the board itself, only to kind of minimize cost, one, and then also make it a little bit easier for me to solder this negative power rail in. And it just helps to have a little bit less material there, not so much thermal mass, so I don't have to really like get down there and bury it in the board, especially when you're soldering in the two capacitors. It can be, it's sometimes it's almost alarming how hot you have to get that board in order to attach those two inner negative leads on the capacitors. And if you're holding the board, you could actually burn yourself, because that solder mask actually travels all the way to the edge of the board, so it gets quite hot. So I've made a couple small changes there to help my manufacturing process, because yes, the boards tend to be made at least mostly assembled in the service that I use, but there is always still some extra work that I do. Sometimes I have to put on the microcontroller, and then also some other of the components on the board. Sometimes I have to do it because they're either out of stock, or maybe I found a better price somewhere else. But yes, so this is the general design here. You'll notice right here on the board it does say, it's the Rusarian blade controller, right? All credit to him. He did a fantastic job, shared this with the community, and I am just trying to share it once again with the community here. So it is based on very, very closely on his design, right? So yeah, that's the major difference in the board itself. As you can see here from the thickness, right? They're different, but all in all, they're still the same. Okay, so be right back for the actual install.